Hey there, good afternoon. It's afternoon here in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the sweetest place on earth, but again, I'm sure it's just as sweet wherever you are today. I'm glad that you tuned in for our live call with me, Jane Miller. We are going to embark here on some marketing magic, some money marketing magic, and that's why you're all here. I thank you for the questions that you send ahead. We'll be working on those, and I will be watching the question box. If you, of course, you're listening through your website and the internet, you'll be able to chat, and also at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side, add further questions. So let's get to it right off. Now, again, what we are talking about here is money-making marketing. There's a lot of marketing going on out there, but it's not all money-making marketing. So let's look at this for just a moment. What do you want from your marketing? When someone says to you, are you doing sales and marketing? And you often wonder what's the difference between the two. But in marketing, are you looking to get the word out? Do you just want to introduce your new product or service? I've seen this in newspaper ads, especially for beauty salons and attorneys. One and the same, huh? However, what I see often is they'll announce a new stylist has come to the shop, or a new attorney has been added to the long list of folks that are on the billboard there. However, that's it. They're telling us that there's a new person and expecting us to what? Get excited because there's a new stylist or an attorney? Are they new? Do they know anything? Are they experienced? Why should I call you? I don't even have a problem. Why am I even reading this ad? How about that? So sometimes that marketing that we're doing is not money-making marketing. Some of the other things we might do are make announcements. I saw one just the other day that said, and it was a display ad, it said, we are moving, okay? And they even said they're moving from, 123 Main Street to 234 Main Street, or whatever it was. So that's cool. So why? What's in it for me? Why do I need to know this? Am I supposed to come in? Why would I come into your store? And how about this? How about come see our new store and get a blah, blah, blah to solve your whatever problem? But I'm getting ahead of myself. What do you want from your marketing? Maybe it's to brand your company. How about this guy over here, the cowboy? He's going to do some branding there. Guess what? Money-making marketing is not about branding. It is about getting money in the door. So let's leave the branding to the Coca-Colas and the Pepsis and the, those folks for now. And we will embark on making money with our marketing. Sound good? Great. Now, what about perhaps we would like to narrow our niche market? That sounds pretty good. I would love if we would all have a wonderful niche or niche to target to. Now, your marketing can do this because once you start this money marketing system, you look to see who's responding, and likely they'll have the same characteristics, so you can build your niche market even from them. Do you want to generate leads? Of course we do. We know that we can generate leads using online and offline marketing. But what is money-making marketing to generate leads? Well, we want them to stand up and raise their hands and ask to be sold to. Finally, we want them to buy, right? But way back here, we need to capture their contact information. So a lot of times our money-making marketing is especially directed at capturing the correct contact information, or even correcting more contact information. We might have the folks come to us for a free marketing report, and when they click the button after they fill in their email, it goes to a second screen that says, hey, if you want our expanded report, give us your phone number too. If you just want the standard old basic free report, your email is fine. So sometimes we use our marketing to get more and more information. But let's start heading down where we really want to go with this thing. What do we want from our marketing? We want new customers, don't we? Yes, we do. That's why we're marketing. We're not just doing this to get the word out and say, hey, I hung a shingle and I'm in business. What would that do? You'd be out of business pretty quickly if you wouldn't have customers and sales. So we want our money-making marketing to produce sales for us. And you'll learn as you work with us here at Miller Institute Marketing that we have a whole sequence that we take our prospects through. We'll teach it to you or even do that for you. But again, let's answer the question. What do you want from your marketing? Money. We want money from our marketing. And yes, we might say that we're serving the world, and of course we're serving the world. That's why we're doing this, so that we can all live better lives and help each other economically, spiritually, faithfully, and so on and so on. And we should be getting money to do the same. With that, I want to address one question that came in. Here's the question. I have some leads, but I'm letting them go. I'm letting them get away. I have trouble because I feel I'm bothering people. Wow. I know a lot of us have been there, and that's a great question. Now, don't let your target market end up saying, gee, I wish I would have had that 2 months ago. Gee, boy, that really would have helped. Wow, I like your product, but I bought X, and I would have really liked yours. Don't let them say, I wish I would have. Here's the thing. Zig Ziglar often said that timid salespeople have skinny kids. Let's take it a step further. And there are many issues, really, beginning with our own attitude when we feel that we're bothering people. A lot of this comes from our upbringing, and so what? That was then, this is now. Look, your prospect needs your product and service because you've already figured this out. Their lives are going to be better with it. But without your product or service, it's going to be horrific without it. Okay, maybe not horrific, but it's not going to be near as good as if they're allowed to buy your product or service. And guess what? You are the best person to deliver it. So think about this. You're doing people a great disservice, an evil almost, with your being timid, with your feelings that you're bothering people. Maybe you just like to give them a gentle nudge. No, no, no. You have a moral responsibility to do more than just give a little gentle nudge. All right? Look, you have to fix this thing about yourself, this attitude, before you try and fix the issue of targets getting away, because we can fix that. If they're coming to you and they're getting away, we can fix it. However, if they're coming to you and you're not bothering them, not bothering to share your products and services, that's something you need to fix yourself. And true, we can help you with that as well. But let's continue on, because a lot of the questions talk about, well, how do I get customers and how do I get these leads? Well, let's get on to our next screen here. Now, if you've been following the Miller Institute money-making marketing system, you've read a lot of this, and I want to review it before we get into some of our other questions. It's the model that I use. It's the successful system that I grabbed because I saw it and I saw that it worked. I made it my own. This is making people money, and it will help you as well. There's a lot of M's in my stuff, isn't there? Miller Institute, the money-making marketing system, and there's 3 more M's that once you get these down pat in your mind, things will start to fly open for you. If you're at a networking event and you start talking to people, you just focus on these 3 items with your folks, and you will be amazed and surprised that they'll come up with why they need your products and services. First of all important message. What is your message? All of these 6 bullets that I have here will totalized be your unique selling proposition. So again, what's your message? And we can go back to the age-old marketing phenomenon of Domino's Pizza, where their message was fresh, hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less guaranteed, right? So they knew exactly what they were selling. They weren't selling delicious pizza or your mama's recipe pizza or whatever it might be. It was hot and it was delivered fast. That was it. So what is your message? What is your unique selling proposition? So what's unique about your product? If you answer these questions, you'll get to it, okay? So if you're a photographic artist and you provide beautiful photos for people, well, what's unique about them? Maybe it's because you find the perfect frame for it to go in as well. Maybe it's because you have that perfect handyman who comes to the house or office where you've sold the photo to, and they hang it at the perfect viewing level. Some of that might get into delivery and service in my example, but think about these things. What customer norms does my company bend or break? And if you've been working with me and the Miller Institute, you already know I'm not a coach. Back in the day when a lot of us learned about coaching versus consulting, we got in the mode of asking, how do you feel about that? What would happen if? That's the norm that I break with my company. Look, I know what works. I can look at your things, your marketing, what you're doing. I can tell where the weak link of the chain is, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it, and I'm going to insist that you do it. Or I'll fire you. You know, I want to work with you. I want you to get going here. So for me, that's my unique norm. I will tell you what to do. Isn't it a great thing? And you can tell me what to do as well. Together we get to the place where you want to be. Now think about what is unique about your personality. If you are, for example, a nutrition coach, what's unique about your personality? Are you a researcher? Can you find things out on the spot? Do you tell people how it is? Are you quiet? Are you extroverted? Those personalities should go right along with the image of your business. If you notice in my business, I often use red. I love the color red. I dress in it a lot. I accessorize with it. I have used a brick red here in this labeling just to tone it down a bit, but I like to do that. And then finally, think about what's unique about your best customer. If you had a best customer that you think about and you want all of those folks to be just like your best customer, what's unique? And I bet it'll come around back to some of the things that you are providing. So work really hard on your product and service message and always carry it through in whatever marketing you're doing, whether it's online or offline, articles, press releases. So my unique selling proposition, if you haven't figured out already, it's not a marketing system, it's a money-making marketing system. If you want to do branding with, 4-color, beautiful, whatever, I'm not your gal. But I am your gal if you want money-making marketing to be implemented. Let's take a question here because I was asked this. How do you find your target market? Yes. Great question, because your message, you want to get to the correct market. If I'm selling, let's say, bra fitting, okay, I probably don't want to target 4-year-olds. Now that's a strange example, but the irony of it is sometimes we do take our message and we're totally marketing to the wrong people. So for my business, it would be totally wrong for me to market to Fortune 500 companies. And I hope that you all become one day if that's your aim. But my market are those of us who perhaps started off, we're in business a few years, success is just around the corner, and we're going to get you there. So think about your message. You just thought about what was unique about your business, what you provide. So who qualifies to benefit from that? What age group are they in? Are they male or are they female? Is there a certain annual income? How do they make their money? Is it from a certain profession? Do they have a certain job title? Where do they live? How do they work? Do they work from home? Do they commute an hour to work? And most importantly, what are their fears, their dreams, and their desires? What are their problems? What keeps them up at night? So when we talk about how do we find our target, I do a lot of test campaigns. So the first thing is I have a couple lists that perhaps I think that these look like pretty good targets. I'm going to do I have a 4-step system that I do for direct mailing, add some email in there, etc., etc. However, when results come back, when folks start raising their hands, I gather those and I look and I say, what is similar about this group that is saying to me, hey Jane, call me. I need your services. I want to work with you. What is typical? What is similar about those folks? And you can really zone in on your target by doing that. How else do you find your target? Well, if you Google, isn't it funny how we use that as a verb now? If you go back to your message and Google your product and service, and do it in such a way that you'll find other sites. You're not looking for your website to come up. You're looking for all kinds of sites to come up. Look at them. What do they have in common? Are they all insurance agents? Are they real estate folks? If you have a staging business for realtors, so that you go in and you make the house look all pretty for the open house and so forth. If you were to Google staging for new homes, do you think you're going to find folks looking for interior decorating? No. Do you think you're going to find builders? Maybe. You're more likely to find those folks trying to sell the darn home. So do it in a backwards way, and we can certainly help you with that. But I just wanted to throw out that idea of how to really niche in on your target. So your market, again, you can figure out who you're working with now, what are the similarities. You can also do this with focusing in on problems. One of the folks I work with, a health nutritionist, one of the problems she solves is folks who can't sleep at night. So when we do headlines for her, it's not about, do you want to get a good night's sleep? Well, yes, that's the problem. So we put the problem out there in a headline and we say something like, are you tired of getting 2 nights sleep and running 12 hours on that small empty bucket of energy, whatever it might be. But look at your problem, and now who would have a problem getting through 12 hours of a workday? Well, it might be somebody on shift work. It could be someone who's on their feet all day. Maybe it's a doctor. Maybe it's a waitress or a waiter. So can you kind of see how you move through what your product and service provides, what problem it solves, and then who has this problem? Now, from there we can go geographical, we can go to some areas of folks that you've worked with. Personally, back in the day, I worked for the electrical company, and I worked a lot with builders early in the 80s. So a typical target for me starting out off would have been contractors and builders, because I knew them, they knew me, I knew their quirks and what they needed. So think back of your work life, or your community life, your charitable life, volunteer work. Who do you know? And so who do you know well? Can you start there? Now, we can always, once we work through this, we'll get to your niche. If you're really not sure who your target is, try to just pick a couple, go from there, see who responds. You're going to start finding who your true target market is. Now here's a question. How do I do, let me read it correctly, doing the right research in the most effective way? And this is a place where this comes up when I say to myself, how do I find my target market? How do I research all of this stuff? It just seems insurmountable. Well, one way is to have someone do it, like your money-making marketing mentor. However, I know we like to get a hold on this ourselves. So here's what we do. Again, start with your unique selling proposition and turn it around. Okay? So for example, let me go to working with a great gal in my community. So there's geographic there. She is not only a custom bra fitter, but she's a seamstress. And her unique thing is she will measure you up, pick fabric, and actually sew the darn thing for you. A custom bra. How cool is that? Now, who's her target market? Is it anyone who needs a bra? No, probably not. So what I had her do was research the problem. Why would someone want to take the time and spend the money to get such a wonderful, unique fitting bra in a beautiful fabric? Well, some of the problems she came up with are that dresses and clothing, they just don't fit right. That would be one problem. The second problem would be the clothing doesn't look right with the bra that they're wearing under it or the garment they're wearing under it. And men, don't be embarrassed because this target's coming right back around to you. And let me show you how. So the problem was ill-fitting dresses that don't look right because of the undergarments. So what do? We put that problem out there on a website. And guess where we found that ending up? Bridal stores, tuxedo rental places, so anything having to do with formal wear. And what mother of the bride wouldn't want a perfect fitting undergarment for that special day? Hey, you got that nice dress. You don't want to be walking around pulling up your dress all night. And you don't want anyone in the wedding party to do it either, right? So here's where the men come in. So the formal wear folks, the formal wear stores, of course, they're talking to the moms of the brides and the bridesmaids and the bride-to-be while their men are getting fitted up for their tuxes, and he's asking them, how are you making out with your dresses and so forth, and how are they fitting, and wow, by the way, did you know that you can get a special fitting undergarment? I'm just saying, the targets could be almost anywhere. So we found that a target for this custom bra fitter and seamstress will be then the formal wear folks, and many times it's men. Isn't that cool? Now, so what you want to do again is Google that problem that you've come up with that your unique selling proposition takes care of. I think what you're going to find out if you were to Google, for example, the I can't sleep question, I think you're going to come up with associations. They might be health associations. We even found one that it was a business conference, but on the agenda they had, how to get through a good day. Well, it's get better sleep, and they had a speaker on there to talk about how to get a good night's sleep. So you can bet my health nutritionist who's working on this is going to be sending articles out to associations and that sort of thing. So again, as far as trying to figure out the most effective way to do your research, again, start with your message and then move to your market. Who would be the best to benefit from your product or service? You're going to get a real quick glimpse of where these folks are hanging out and what the problems are. And then you base all of your money-making marketing around those problems. For example, in many of my headlines, they are things like, are you tired of working 80 hours a week for minimum wage? Because guess what? If you're only making $30,000 in your business, that's what you're making. So let's get to research and get some things done. You can do that real easily, again, with Google or Bing or whatever you want to use for that. Okay, so if we talked pretty much about how you find your target market, Let me talk a little bit about geographic. I'm just checking my time. We're at 3:25 p.m., so we have a little time here left today. If you are working in a geographic market, perhaps you're a dry cleaner, okay? What you can do is, oh wait, I have to back up. I was just at the post office because I love doing direct mail and I love to buy beautiful stamps. Why just get the standard stamps when you can now get forever stamps that are go green, mercury, beautiful flowers, all kinds of good stuff. Nonetheless, I was in the post office and they have a new service that they'll deliver your direct mail piece to whole neighborhoods and you don't even have to like address them or anything. Okay, let's think about this. I get that piece in the mail. I don't feel very special, number one, but number two, I suggest that you drive around, if this is geographic, drive around these neighborhoods that are so-called, if you've bought a list, for example, where your local newspaper or merchandiser says, well, we can send to this part of the neighborhood. Go drive it and see what folks are doing. Are there, what's in the driveway? Let's start there. Are there lots of bikes in the driveway? Is there a basketball hoop? Then you probably know that this neighborhood is family-oriented. And if that fits your, message, so be it. If you are a carpet cleaner, for example, please go around and drive to where you're sending this information to and your flyers and so forth. Are they neighborhoods that would actually hire a carpet cleaner? Are you mailing to a, mobile home park? Nothing wrong with living there, but I'm not sure that that's where our paid-for carpet cleaning, where you go hire a contractor, comes into play just because of the size of the rooms that you have there. So be real careful when you're using a targeted list like that. And go drive around. Really, when we talk about driving around, it's kind of what I suggested you do on the website. Drive around where your folks are hanging out, where your supposed target market is hanging out, and see what they're tuning into. All right, next, let's move on to media with our last 15 minutes or so that we have today. We talked a lot about your message and crafting it, figuring out what is indeed your unique message. What is the product or service that you are providing? We talked a lot about trying to figure out your niche market or your target market and how to reach those folks. Now, let's talk about how to reach those folks in a different manner. Media. Okay, media. When we think about media, here's what comes to my mind. As a small business that's starting out, likely the first thing they do is hang a jingle and take out an ad. Get their business cards. Those are all forms of media. The shingle you're hanging out, the business card, the little ad that you take. And if you start there, it's likely going to be nice. A couple people will say, hey, I saw your shingle, I saw you're in business. But what we're after here is money-making media. Okay, so we're going to talk about what can we do in our media to get people to raise their hands, what media will fit your message, and then what media fits your target market. Okay, so let's jump right in here. Many of the marketing folks, and me included, suggest that you come up with some kind of free report that you can offer. And we do this because we want to educate our prospects. And we want our prospects to raise their hands and say, tell me more, and then later sell to me. You can also do this with samples. I remember when I was, early on, I was actually only 14, 15 years old, and I wanted to sell Avon. And you had to be 18, so we put my sister's name down instead. But nonetheless, samples. Avon was big on giving samples out as a way to get folks to give you their phone number or accept a book or whatever it might be. A free trial. This is great. I just signed on with a toll-free phone service. It's wonderful. I can have a whole bunch of mailboxes. I can get fax through that. It's not very expensive. As a matter of fact, I'm not even paying for it because I got a 3-month trial. So free trials are great media. You could do this with, let me think about the idea of a photographic artist you could give someone a painting, not give them, you could free trial one of your photographic art pieces in, let's say, a doctor's office for a month and see if it livens up the place. Demonstrations, that always reminds me of when you go to the farm show and the guy was up there selling knives. He was demonstrating his knives. You know, they sold pretty many. So we can do demonstrations, and you can do that on the website as well. You could put together a YouTube video and embed it down on your website and send folks to it to look at a demo of you doing whatever it is that you're good at, whatever your product or service is. How about a video series of lessons? That's a great way. That's a great media. I like checklists too. In one of the classes that I attended earlier this year, a contractor put together a checklist of the 10 things you should check on about your plumbing. It had a much better headline than that, but a checklist is a great way, a great piece of media to use. Many people use a free consult. Okay, there was a calculator I used early on to figure out should I, purchase electricity from a different supplier, and there was a calculator on there. There was another good one about if you have a gas guzzler and you're thinking about trading it in. It was cool because you could put in the price of gas and how much the new car would cost and how much your payment was, and it would tell you just how high gas would have to get to make it make sense. Guess what? It made sense pretty quickly. But aren't those cool kinds of media? And gee, you were thinking advertising, right? Yes, advertising in the newspaper, on a website, coupons. They're all great forms of advertising, and we can think of those as well. But media is all this combined to get the customers, to get the prospects to raise their hands and say, pick me, talk to me. So now when we move on to fitting media with our message, so likely our undergarment consultant, she would do a checklist of things to check, for fit. She could do a quick consult with you because the stores offer those at no cost usually, so she could add some things on to make it a paying event, but just for media, a consult would work well there. So is your message, is it for a service? Is it for a physical product? Is it for a consult? Well, then you match your media to do just that. If I am selling a product, let's say I'm selling an energy drink, what media might fit that message? Well, going back, you've got to have the right message that solves the people's problem, okay, and then put that all together in your media. So you might have an event. An event would be great for any kind of food or drink. You might have an event where you could try this all out. The folks could come and try it, and that could be in a geographical area. Perhaps you would, let's do some 3D mail. Perhaps you could send something 3D that would cause the folks to call you, go to your website, email you. So there's all kinds of different media you can use. Electronic is fine, and that's email or web. How about a toll-free message? Have you, now it's, voting time around the world, and a lot of us are getting those political message that they're incoming. How about a tiny little ad in an association newsletter that is sent to your target that says, call 1-800-540-2610 to solve your problems on sleeping at night, or whatever it was. So it won't cost much, but the folks could call and get the toll-free message and then leave their contact information for the full report. Would that be cool? I use a lot of mailing because I encourage my marketing students to also use mailing as well. And Magazines are probably an expensive choice, but a magazine ad, you could go to the back to the little classified ads and put your little ad back there and have the people call you on your toll-free message as well. It all just depends what your message and product and service is and how it will fit your media. So direct mail is just great, and I use it quite a bit. Google ads are something that we should get into personally because there's so many different thoughts today about the Google ads and how you should work them, and really even if they're working anymore, it seems that many folks think that only those spending $500,000 or up or is that it's working with Google ads, but we can talk more about that. The real way to do the Google is to put lots of articles out there and news releases and press releases and get the back links to come back to you. So again, think about your target market and think about how they want to receive your message. Maybe it's in the newspaper. Maybe it is a coupon. Perhaps they'd like to see something on television. Maybe they'd like a call. So really these three M's need to go together. You can't just pick one and say, I think I'll do a merchandise ad. Okay, well what should I put in it? No, what we want to start with again is what is your message and what is your market and what's the media that they prefer and is best to get your product or service out to them. Here's an interesting question. How often should I drip on people? Interesting question, and I'm sure they phrase it this way because on one of my web pages I ask, I tell you to get the drip. And really what it means is please join my marketing newsletter so that I can auto-respond to you. So here's the question. So how often should I drip on these people who, let's say they've seen your ad, they've heard your message, and they've signed up, and they've got your free report. Now what? Well, some folks would say, some marketing experts would say that you should daily send them something daily. I don't do quite as frequently as that. However, you need to give it a try. And here's the way to try it. As you're testing, segment your list. When you get folks into your autoresponder list, you can segment them out into pieces so that you can send test messages. Do like 10, 10, and 10. So the first group of 10, they will get a message every day. Your second group of 10, they will get a message every 3 days. Your third group of 10, they will get a message every whatever after that, 15 days. See what works for you. See what works for your target market. There's nothing worse probably than getting bombarded with email. However, if your message solves some problem that they have, they're going to look at your mail, your email, and your messages and your calls. So you can gauge for yourself just how often get dripped on. I have a different drip, I'll say a drip level for when I'm doing direct mailing. And we can talk about that. That's something you want to use, and you do, in your money-making marketing system. Now, another question came through that said, what is the best internet marketing tactic? You know what the answer is already, don't you? It really depends. It really depends on your market and how they like to be sold to or how they like to be educated. I'm going to talk a little bit about Google again because now Google's online, right? And they want to sell you AdWords and they want advertisers and they want lots of good hits. And they're internet and they're online. Do you know that they spend right now 4 times as much on offline advertising as they do on online advertising? So the best internet marketing is just a piece of your whole strategy. That's how I'll answer that. Our article marketing with backlinks are great. Press releases are great. blogs are wonderful, and I can't really say that there's one best tactic right now because there's so many. Again, and I said it probably 4 times already, go back to your market and figure out how they like to be marketed to. And that will be your best internet marketing tactic, but only a piece of your tactic. All right, so another question was mainly, my problem is getting new customers. So what we want to do there is come back around and focus on this message, market, and media and get started having your prospects raise their hands, because they're not a customer right away. They're prospects when we get them into our fold. So let's talk a little bit about that. When you do your money-making marketing, you have to have the sacred rules in place. So to get customers, make sure you're presenting an irresistible offer. You know, it's so great. It's gonna tell me in 3 steps how I'm gonna sleep through the night at a cost of less than $10 a month. What are you wondering what the product or service is? That was a headline for some lavender oil. Okay, so present the irresistible offer. How else do you get customers? Well, create a reason for them to respond. Now, in the sleep issue, it's because you're tired of losing sleep and not doing your best all day with your grandchildren or your work or whatever it might be. So give them a clear reason to respond now. It might be because I only have 4 left and I'm going to sell them up. Give them clear instructions how to respond. So see here the press here button. That's pretty cool. Tell them to call me at 1-800-540-2610 any time of the day or night and we'll get your message. Tell them to email you at a special email address. Tell them how to write to you, P.O. Box 912, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Give them clear instructions how to respond. They will be looking for that. Okay? 4, track and measure. I've talked a little bit about testing and also about how I'm targeting in on my targeting market, my target market, by doing some test campaigns and looking at who's responding. I track just about everything. How much goes out, how many come back in, how it comes back in. Did they call me back? Did they email? Did they go to the website? Did they mail me something? Right. And don't forget, number 5, forget about branding. Do this direct response again. And if you're not as familiar with direct response, you need to go back to the website and look at the tab that's called Start Marketing, I believe it is. And you'll see how to do it there. You got to follow along and follow up with these folks. If you're thinking you can do a one-time pre-brochure, not happening. You've got to follow along, and after, for example, what I'll do is a 6-touch. I'll do 4 direct response letters, and they might be postcards, but letters, and with some emails slipped in between there. And then after that, I'll do the phone calls. So I'm educating all along the way. All right? You got to present compelling sales copy. And just go back and look at my website. I think there's some pretty compelling sales copy there, and you're welcome to swipe and copy and deploy whatever it is off of there to relate to your business. An old Lillian Berman catalog is gold. You want to mimic mail order ads. Those folks knew what they were doing back in the day. They knew it. If you go back and read the little ads for each product, they're presenting an irresistible offer. They're telling you how to respond. They give you clear instructions how to respond just about on every page. So look at some of those to mimic some of the things they do. Pay attention to your results, because this is how you're going to finally get customers. You're going to look at who's responding, niche it down, target more of those people. So now your money-making marketing system's in place, and the investment you're making is directed to the most effective crew. And those folks will become your customers as you educate them and get them into the fold. Now, you have to be disciplined. Again, you can't just do this one time. You put it in place, test it, look at it, get the result, repeat, do it again. And by all means, put your personality into it as well. just real quickly, now how do you get the customers all the way through the buying decision? And I'm saying how do you get the prospect through? So this is going to be recorded, so I'm just going to fly through this more quickly because you didn't have specific questions on this, but really through all of your money-making marketing, the prospects needs to become aware that they need or want your product or service. And you've done a good job beforehand on figuring out the problem and the target. So that shouldn't be too bad a step to move on to. Then you need to create the definitive solution. Okay, so if I know my target market's problem is they're not getting enough prospects in the door to sell to, well, let's fix it. Let's do the problems. Let's get the headline. And by the way, the definitive solution is the money-making marketing system. Okay, that's the thing that's going to fix your problem. That said, now the prospect, you can choose the system knowing that it's going to fulfill their need or desire. Moving on, they'll choose the source. So for me, for example, I have of course, a whole system that I work one-on-one with my customers on. Number two, I have a startup package where they can begin to work on it themselves and then just get some marketing mentoring along the way. Third, they can do a do-it-yourself package. I'll give you the stuff or sell you the stuff and you can try to do it yourself. That's great. So there's a source. They can choose the source for the thing that they need, want, or desire. And then at the same or the next step, after they choose the source, they will accept the price for it because they've said, this is a good value for what I need to accomplish. And then finally, there has to be a reason for them to act now. So many of the reasons are, man, I got to get customers in the door. I got to get cash in my pocket now. And then finally, not finally, but step number 6, to move them through how to engage with you, how to buy easily. So maybe they will call your toll-free number and talk to someone or leave a message. Maybe they will send you an email and tell you they want to buy. Perhaps they'll order directly online. That would be another way. Or perhaps they would like you to call them so that you can exchange the credit card, whatever it is. Give them a variety of easy methods in which to engage. And again, back to that toll-free. That's actually not a very expensive method for you to engage your customers. You can use things like PayPal and One Shopping Cart, and you can use those things to send out bills if they want that. So there's lots of ways. Just give them a variety. Finally, they work through, they make the purchase based on their terms. Maybe they want to do the full payment, maybe they want to do a payment plan, maybe they want to try to finagle something else, but it's their terms. Now they're your customer. Now they're your customer. So when you talk about getting customers, go back to the marketing, go back to the message of your product and service, who you're target marketing to, what media they want to be sold through, and then finally, when they've raised their hands, now you can take them through these steps of the buying decision, not before. Let's move on, and I want to give you a deal today because if you know money-making marketing systems, you never let folks go without an irresistible offer and an offer that needs to get done now. So I've called it my May deal to get it done, and you'll find it over on my website as well. But look at this, and we've been talking about how to get the folks to raise their hands. Here's what I've come up with. I'm going to write for you and format one free report. Okay, it'll be done. It'll be done, and it'll meet the problem, solve the problem for your target market. Headline will be all there and perfectly an irresistible offer. Okay, if you don't have a landing page, we'll set that up for you. Okay, we'll put the little sign-up box on your landing page to offer this report. We'll also write you some copy so that you can put it out there and maybe classify it, offering your free report. And if we write any code, we'll give you the code. Then you can swipe it wherever you want or give it to your web guy if you've got that, or gal, and they can swipe that onto your site for you. But again, if you don't, we'll create a landing page for you so that the folks can come there and get your free report. And as I mentioned, we'll do some copy for you, some sales copy, and campaigns to entice people to go grab your report. And this will be both online and offline methods. Okay? You're going to need the sales kind of page on your web. So we'll set that up for you or give you the copy so that you can have your web person do that if you like. They got to have a place to go once they offer up their free or offer up their contact information for the free report or free teleseminar, whatever it is. So we'll set you up a thank you page. So it does two things. It says, hey, we appreciate your time. We appreciate that you've offered up your contact information. Here is your free report. You know, we can have the PDF all there that they can download it. Also, it'll be in a form where you can snail mail it to them as well. Now, you're going to need a lead capture site. So when they put their email and name and phone number, whatever it is you've asked for, into the little box or onto your toll-free message, you need to capture this. So we'll set you up, if you aren't already, on a MailChimp or an iContact, one of the no-cost ones to start with, especially if you're new to this. You just want to start with one of the free ones to get going and see how it all works. So we'll set that up for you and also set up some of those segmentations that I talked about so that you can do some test auto-responding and dripping to these folks. We will come up with 3 free e-lessons so that you have some autoresponders. Once these folks opt into your list for your free thing, then you want to get back to them automatically. So we will set up 3 free lessons on whatever your topic is, how to take better photos, and then they figure out they don't know how to do it, so they'll call you and get you to do it type thing. We'll create one article for you with the links in there, the website links and toll-free numbers, whatever you have, so that the folks can get back to you and they'll get back to your page. We'll place the article for you in a minimum of 4 sites related to your business. It's crazy, huh? And then we'll also do a press release, and I'm thinking maybe I'll do 2 if you're a startup or you're kind of new. You want to have a press release announcing your business, and then you want to have a second press release for whatever it is going on, whether you're offering classes or lessons or free report or your article was placed here and there, and so on. And we'll place the press release for you as well. So you can see here is the website that goes more into depth about our May deal. Now, I want to talk to you about the bonuses. I love bonuses, and whatever you're doing, you should follow what I'm doing here too. So if you sign on today, okay, and you're going to go to the website that we showed you, and you'll have ways to order. Remember, were you paying attention? You can call the toll-free number 1-800-540-2610 and tell me you want to order. You can go to our website and order securely online. You can also send me an email and ask me for a bill. And this will all be explained when you go to our website. It's on the pages we mentioned, the May deal to get it done, and there's also the same information on our shopping cart. But look what I'm going to give you here. I'm going to send to you in priority mail a Miller Institute flash fob. And there's a picture of it. People didn't know what I meant by a flash fob. So it's actually a flash drive, and there's a fob thing on it. You can, I don't know, put it on a keychain or something. But I'm going to load up on there the startup guide that you're going to need. And what the startup guide is a template that I'll ask you to fill out. It has questions about your company and your personality and what you provide and who you'd like to work with, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to get you to those all-important 3 M's that we talked about: your message, your market, and your media. So we'll get that to you. It's all loaded up. It's a great thing to have so that when you're writing copy and swiping copy and downloading, you can keep everything on the flash drive. Then you know exactly where it is. How often have you gone in and said, where did I put that, blah, blah, blah. The second thing I'm going to give you, because we talked earlier about attitude. What's your attitude about bothering people? What's your attitude about selling? What's your attitude about serving? I want to give to you, since I'm involved with the Yes Energy Coalition, and this is Laura Langmeyer's best-selling book, and actually in the certification problem to do the actual coaching. But I love marketing. That's my first thing. So what I thought I'd do is, why not give you one of the hardback copies as a bonus? Then we can all get on the same page together and use our Yes Energy to do more money-making marketing and make more money finally. And the third bonus, if you sign on, you'll get 30 days with me, Jane Miller, as your mentor, and we will just kick it up. We will do this duty and get it all done for you. Now, if you wait a Friday, you wait a May 19th, that's Saturday. You wait 19th to Saturday, the bonus is going to be all gone. Gone. I only have so many of those flash fobs ordered, so I'd have to order some more. So I have a handful left, so if you get in on the bonus today, I'll send that right out to you. Now, the other thing is, and take as an example, when you do sign on with us, you will be directed to a web page that not only thanks you, of course, for becoming one of our most admired and special customers. Right there, you're going to be able to download the next steps to get you started on getting everything done. Okay? So again, let's just go right on back to the beginning. What do you want from your marketing? Yeah, I thought so. Let me just check if any other questions came in before we wrap up today. And it looks like we've answered all of the questions. I will take further ones. Just give me an email at Jane Miller, or jane@millerinstitute.com. Get it again here and we'll show that to you. So please send me any of your questions, comments, or concerns, and we'll get that rolling for you. And we will be recording this event today, so once it's all downloaded and all the stuff that happens to it, I will send it on to you folks. And believe me, it's going to be available later as a freebie, so watch and learn. Again, thanks for joining us today. I do so appreciate all the time that you spend with us and all the work that you're doing to make more money. Thank you so much, and good day.